start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
These are not on. No.
It's on.
So, first minutes. Have the members received the minutes of the last meeting? Yes. Any corrections or changes?
No.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you. Okay, so tonight we have one public hearing and 3 workshops. And first, we have the public hearing on Millbrook Special Farm for 119-125 Butts Hollow Road. The applicant Brendan Johnson of Johnson Surveying is on behalf of the property owner, Millbrook Special Farm, has applied for a preliminary subdivision approval to create 2 lots on a 205.63 acre parcel. This is a minor subdivision according to our code. It's unlisted action under seeker. And at our last meeting, we declared our intent to serve as lead agency and gave notice to other interested agencies. We also referred the application to Steve Marino, the town's wetland consultant. Okay, who's here representing?
I'm Brendan Johnson.
Hi, come on up. You can pull up a chair there. Thanks.
This is the same that were distributed with the original application.
So if you, because it's a public hearing, if you could just summarize a bit about the application, and then we can open the hearing.
Okay,
We'll talk first, Aaron will talk.
Yeah.
You can start. You want to start with you?
I mean, you summed it up pretty well to start. We classified it as a minor subdivision under your code, made a bunch of referrals, declared lead agency, referred to the county and some other agencies too. Responses haven't all come back yet on those referrals. So I think what we might end up doing is continuing this hearing another month to make sure we get those comments. We also were, we requested some, first of all, we also requested Steve Marino to get out and take a look at the wetland area here to see what the extent of it is, if it's going to present any issues for the buildability of the lot. The applicant was also going to attempt to overlay the scenic road buildability and not buildable areas from that map that I shared in the memo from the hospitality update to see if, you know, to pick a spot on that lot where a potential home could be with some information about, you know, the size of the area where the home could be to show that it's buildable. There was also a request for the full survey of the property, which we did get since last time. It does show that creation of this 20 acres at the southeast corner, it's not going to create any new nonconformities with the existing structures that are on the other 200 acres, 184?
Yeah.
The approximately 184 acres that are going to remain, they're far enough away from this lot that, you know, as they are, they're not going to create any new nonconformities. So no issues with that. So I think just look for an update from the applicant on what they've done since last time, and plan to get an update from Steve Marino, who is willing to meet with the applicant on the site at some point when the weather permits. It's been with the snow and ice and the freezing and thawing, it has been the most ideal wetland investigation conditions. So I think he's just waiting for the weather to be good. And we'll wait for the referrals to come back. And I think that was it. We're going to hear from the applicant to see how they want to respond to the request from last month.
Yeah, so you basically summarized the project pretty straightforward. I know we also talked about doing a site visit with a potential structure area being staked out. I sent the planning board secretary an email on the 20th saying that we did stake out a potential house site. I never heard anything back, so
She resigned, so we're,
Oh.
no. planning board
that would
secretary. And I
I-
just found out today that the email has not been checked. So
okay.
I just made an assumption that someone was checking the email, but it doesn't appear.
that would
was
explain why I didn't hear
happening.
back. I also have all the notices too for for whoever. So yeah, so I talked with the landowner and we discussed
Can you
some.
hold one minute?
Oh,
Problems without it. I think that everybody's admitted now.
Adam's there.
Okay, great. Can you do me a favor? Keep an eye on that?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Sorry.
That's not a problem. Yeah, so I discussed with the client, possible home sites and driveways like we discussed the previous meeting. I do have a map here. I was able to overlay that hospitality map. It was easier said than done because it's such a large scale. But I do have with also some topo as well. If you want to take a look. So the area at the top in the hat and the dashed line is the non-buildable view shed area. So we're actually where we have the house is in the buildable but view shed area. Sorry. And then there's another line down further.
This is the possible house site, right?
Yes. And the driveway comes, sorry, I had to scale it down.
Mhm.
And then below,
Something went wrong. Please try again.
sorry,
I'm just glad it wasn't there.
that's what I thought it was. Sorry. I apologize about that. Thought that was- Yeah.
Right
My
here.
phone knows something. wrong.
The top.
Okay.
I really can't see.
Okay.
So it looks like you've got a couple of rows of existing trees that would be kind of in the way, or, in
Yep.
between the house and Bucks Hollow Road that
Yep.
aren't gonna go anywhere, including the wetland area.
Yeah, so their goal is if they're allowed to build up here is to essentially tuck the house back as far as they can. They don't want to take down any trees. There's actually a very large pine tree and maple tree on the ridge right in front of where the house would be. And then with the existing tree line, they would go back only as much needed to put a well or what have you before it slopes up. So when I did lay out the house, driving on Butts Hollow, so there's tree rows, and even in the wintertime when there's no foliage, it actually still blocked quite a bit of the hillside. And if you're coming from 343, you got to do the neck crane after you drive by to see where it would be. And even coming from the other direction, the tree line between the paddocks and the one up on top of the hill block the majority of what is up there.
So you can see this property from 343?
Not from 343, from Butts. Did I say?
Mhm.
I meant
Yeah.
Butts Hollow.
Okay.
Sorry. But if you're driving from 343, I'm trying
Okay,
to give
gotcha.
direction on it. So driving north essentially. So as far as locations, I think they chose a good one where you can still hide, maintain view shed, and keep the consistency with what's happening. And then I don't want to call it a neighborhood, but in the neighborhood.
And the horse paddocks are pretty much gonna be Cap this stuff.
Yeah, so their intent is to like eventually do kind of the same scale, retired horse farm kind of situation they have going now.
Mhm.
The paddocks will obviously have to be probably reconfigured a little bit, but with the new property line, obviously, but wherever, the driveway could possibly go in, they'll have to.
Is that what you have sketched here?
Yeah, that's just a real rough kind of,
So how does the drive,
There were some wetlands in
yeah,
so there isn't.
there is,
Not according to the DEC mapper. The only thing on the DEC wetland mapper actually is the pond, and it's not a DEC wetland, it's just a
I
federal.
think it's an intermittent stream that runs.
Yeah, it's not on their, they don't
is
have
it on
it,
the
they don't have it
NRI?
listed.
Is it on the NRI map?
It is. As
It is.
potential, it's potential
That's
wetland.
one we really need.
That's why we
Steve to go
need
out and
Steve
look
to
at.
go.
Yeah, so that was,
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
because the DEC doesn't always have everything.
no, I know,
Yeah.
I know.
And
I
with the new
looked,
regulations that are coming, that have just been put in place with DEC for wetlands, it's kind of on the applicant to
Yeah.
identify that.
so, yeah, so the municipality has no legal right, or not right, I should say, they don't need to notify the DEC. I actually put a request in for jurisdictional,
Okay.
to see if they have jurisdiction over it. I don't think they will, just because they don't meet any of the acreage thresholds or,
The thing with the
to my
GD
experience.
thing is,
but it's 90
it
days.
takes 90 days to get a response. So,
I figured I'd just put it
but
in.
it's good. I mean, it's the new requirement. This is why it's going to take a lot longer to review wetlands
Applications
projects.
are just
Yeah.
gonna go a bit slower when there's what.
Yeah.
Did you do that? There was a webinar. a couple
Yeah,
of
I've been
weeks-
at
yeah.
one and I'm going to another one next week because I'm just trying to absorb as much as I can.
So the town of Washington has different wetland designated areas than the DEC.
Mhm.
They're different, just to let you know, so.
Oh, I know, and there's federally,
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's federal
inventory,
as well,
yeah.
but ours are probably more restricted than the other two. So just to let you know about that.
But in this case, the town's map says potential, DEC doesn't show anything. So going through both avenues, I think is smart, and having Steve out there, and Steve can advise further on what the new law means for the town and this project. So
Do we expect he's gonna have something for us next month? I mean,
I'll check in with him. Yeah, I asked him if he could provide it by next month. And hopefully the weather is cooperating. So,
yes.
No, that's good. So this is only open right now.
Is there anything else, or should we open up the,
I think it's ready to open up, yeah.
okay. So can I have a motion to open the public hearing? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So is anybody here on this application?
Might be Zoom.
Is anybody on Zoom that would like to speak on this application?
No, I'm all set.
Everyone else voluntarily muted.
Yeah, but I think based on the names, I don't think that those people are likely to be here for this.
No,
application.
I have no
Yeah.
comment. This is Denise speaking.
Okay, great, thank you. Yes, sir.
We're kind of operating, at least I am, in the dark. Could we see a copy of what you're saying? I live on Trevor Trail.
Do you have a large copy of it?
My question is, what am I looking at, from a site view from, let's say, Sutton Road and Little West? Yeah.
Sure.
no, it's on the other side.
See, I don't even know where the cutout is.
So it's, I don't know, the distance up the road, but basically the only place you can see that all of the 205 acres essentially is from about 800 feet of Butts Hollow Road. So Little Rest is well on the other side of the hill. What was the other? What was the other?
It's a driveway.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize it, so. Yeah, so as far as other properties and, I don't, there's no real sight lines to.
Have this copy?
Yeah.
You can give them that.
It's on the
Yeah,
easel,
copy,
but
you can see
it's on a
it.
board, so. yeah.
I mean, it's also, should be on, online.
Thank you.
on the
Yeah, all the
website.
stuff's online.
All the stuff that we receive is also posted there for the public.
if there's no other public comment, we'll close the meeting
A question.
or we'll
Or
adjourn
leave
the
it open,
meeting.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, Howard.
Okay, the town wetlands map still apply with the new regulations from DEC, which are quite different than the town regulations?
Steve can answer that better than I can. But I think because you have a wetlands law, and you have regulated, buffer areas for streams and wetlands and ponds and, I think it's still, your town rules still apply. But the question is, what does DEC have jurisdiction over? Because now it seems like it's going to get a lot bigger in the state. And by 2028, my understanding is the size of wetlands that the DEC can claim as jurisdictional is going to be reducing from 12 to 7 acres. So that could be a lot more state jurisdictional wetlands happening all over the place. So
Part of my question is because the town wetlands are smaller in many cases than 12
Yeah.
other acres.
that's right.
And so they would still apply though.
Yes, I think they still would. Yeah, because you have a wetlands law and a wetlands map in place. And I think it's just a matter of the state wants to see what could be their jurisdiction too. That's my understanding. But I asked Steve to, as part of his review of this application and the other one that's on the agenda tonight, if he could give the board some additional info about the implications of the new regulations for the town.
So that's where I'm sort of winding my way in. When Steve comes out, he will also do the wetland of the town. So
Yeah.
that'll
Yes.
be.
Oh, yeah.
that'll be
Yes.
effective
Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
The DEC is not supplanting the town of Washington.
Not at
as well.
No.
I listened to their webinar. I found it very confusing.
You're not alone.
That's for sure.
It's just, and with any new regs, it's going to be a little,
I don't think they even know. It's
there's some growing pains with it. Everyone's still getting a handle on it. And the 90-day thing, that for this parcel JD process that they made, which is basically anyone can take their property, put it into this website link that they give you. And all that gives you back from DEC is, yeah, we think you might have wetlands here. They don't actually verify that they're there. They said, based on an aerial interpretation, you might have wetlands here. So now get a professional to go out and investigate it.
Which, that's not really telling you anything. Everyone knows whether they
Yeah.
might have wetlands on their own property.
It's-
It's not really giving
Well,
you information.
it's jurisdictional is the key word, right? If they're jurisdictional under the state. So, yeah, with any new regulation, there's a little bit of a process in the beginning. So
All right, with that, can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing? Because we'll reopen it next
So
month.
moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll see you next
So a
month.
couple questions. So obviously we're waiting on Steve to
Yeah.
I guess he'll get in touch with me at some point and then.
Yeah.
There's no secretary.
no, he's
We're hoping that is resolved
As far
quickly.
as some
He's-
sort of walkthrough that you guys wanted to do.
We'll be in touch on that.
yeah. We have to figure that out still,
Figure out.
scheduling wise.
For
But we're
whether-
trying to. There's a chance that we could maybe do it in coordination with Steve's visit, but we don't know yet. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One other, not for the applicant, but just for the board, just want to check again, the referrals that we made.
I don't know the status of what we've heard back.
Yeah, so
About the
my last comment, before the recommendations of the last page of the memo, there's an update about that, so I just wanted to touch on that. So the 30-day response period runs until the 12th of March, so we still have that amount of time to wait.
Okay.
So far, we've heard back from the town highway department and the county health department. They both consented to the planning board being lead agency. The town highway department offered no comment. County health department offered a pretty standard comment, which is detailed plans and specs will have to be submitted to this department by a New York State licensed professional for approval of proposed wastewater supply and sewage disposal system arrangements or changes thereto. Reference is made to Dutchess County Sanitary Code Articles 5, 16, and 19. So that's just when the house is built, if it is, they have to go through the proper permitting process with the county. That's all we've got so far back from the referrals.
Okay. Great.
So would you motion to continue? I think you want to
I
make,
did that already.
okay, it's all good?
Yeah.
Sure. All right, perfect.
Next on the agenda is Clear, 515 Woodstock Road. This is an application for a conventional subdivision of a 90.87 acre parcel into 5 lots. We've been reviewing this application over many months. We determined after holding a public hearing on the question that this application should proceed as a conventional subdivision. We then held another public hearing on seeker and environmental issues, and thereafter adopted a negative declaration. In January, we held a public hearing on the preliminary plat, and since that public hearing, we've received further communication from a member of the community, and all of this public input has been considered by our board. And we now have a proposed resolution, which, Joe, I'm going to ask you to
Yeah.
introduce.
So, as it- so-
Yeah, it's unplugged.
Is it?
No.
I don't know. All right, there we go. It's pretty good. As the chair mentioned, this project's been under review and substantial scrutiny for many months. There were just for the benefit of the public, what's being considered tonight is a resolution of
I think you're on mute, the town of Washington.
Yes, I also lost video from them too.
The video is back, but I think they're on mute.
Let's see.
There you go.
All right,
There you go.
we're back.
All right.
Okay.
We did it without you, Eric.
You just went off.
It literally was just.
Yeah, turn this on. Here's my thing.
It was your fault.
Okay.
Good?
Back to
Okay.
Jen. Thank you.
You're welcome. We do that to heighten the drama for all the applicants. So it's a resolution granting preliminary subdivision approval, and procedurally, just for the benefit of the public, what that means is that it is a process where this resolution acknowledges the history of the application, all the application materials, a proposed plat which is being approved, and it sets forth a number of conditions for what the final approval and the final approved plat will have to look like. If the applicant then, assuming that the board does act on this and approve this resolution tonight, if the applicant then satisfies all of those conditions, they would come back in and ask this board to adopt a resolution of final approval of the subdivision. And as members of the public may know, and certainly the town and the applicant know, again, the application's been thoroughly vetted and the subject of substantial scrutiny given the what's perceived as the sensitivity of the site, the pressures on the site in terms of any potential future development, given its uniqueness and its location along scenic roads, et cetera, and some site features. And to that end, this preliminary approval resolution that you are considering tonight has a number of conditions in it, many of which are fairly typical for preliminary subdivision approval. Simple things like payment of escrow fees and other sorts of notations that would be typical in these applications. And it also has provisions which would require that there'll be no further subdivision of these parcels creating any new lots. So these five lots with the possibility of minor internal line adjustments based on field conditions as they go forward might be possible, but there will be no new subdivision of these lots according to this resolution of approval. And that would have to be documented, and the resolution calls for that. Proposed agreements and restrictions would be presented to the town for my review and for the board's review to confirm that those conditions have been met prior to a final approval being granted. So that is the resolution that you have in front of you. If you have any other questions about it, I'm happy to answer them, but that's what you're looking at today.
Okay, thank you. Has everyone on the board had a chance to read and review this? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. We're ready to vote on it?
Yes.
May I have a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Will there be a copy available?
Let me
of the
just say that
resolution?
I appreciate the board's time. I was commenting when I came in this evening that it was light when we walked in. And I remember last fall, as it would get darker and darker later in the afternoon, we experienced first it was dark when we left, and then it was also dark when we got there. So I think that documents that we tried to do the best job possible in taking a hard look and giving the board the kind of analysis that it wanted to see to show what the property was really like. And at the same time, we really appreciate the fact that your board and your consultants also took a very hard look and took us to task in making comments to resolve all the fine points, and we were happy to answer those questions. So I have admiration for your town and the seriousness with which you take these issues, and we're very proud to have given you the information that was relevant to make it. And of course, we still have a long way to go in addressing all of the conditions of this resolution, but we appreciate your thoroughness and hope it'll be an example for other applications.
Thank you. That's very nice. It
Thank
has
you
been a
very
pleasure
much.
working with you.
Yes,
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
See you next
Good
time.
job.
Thanks.
Is it preliminary resolution on the website?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So next up, we have a workshop for the applicant Matt Salo as agent for Edward P. Jones on behalf of Highlight Builders, seeking an amendment to a previously issued special permit to allow professional offices on the first floor of a two-story mixed-use building at 3699 Route 44. It's my understanding that Mr. Salo was going to be on, there we go, on Zoom.
Good evening.
Good evening. Okay, so Aaron, where are we on this application?
Okay. Okay, so this was here last month. The applicant, actually, no, they weren't. They were here for a pre-application last time they were here. So this is for the property at 3699 Route 44. Maybe they could start with an intro because this is
Okay.
like technically their first time as a real
that's
application.
right. It's-
And then I'll go to I don't want to take their thunder from the, yeah,
point.
that'd be good.
Yes, Mr. Salo, I think it does make sense for you to introduce the project.
Sure, no problem. So my name is Matt Solo. I'm the owner of Highlight Builders. We are the construction managers for Edward Jones at this location. They are a renting tenant. They're not the owner of the building. But they're looking to open up a small branch in the existing commercial space, as you said, on the first floor of 3699 Route 44. The project proposed is pretty simple. It's for the most part interior scope of work, paint finishes, a couple small non-load bearing partitions, lighting, electrical, flooring, wall ceilings, very cosmetic in nature in terms of the actual construction. There is some exterior work planned, the majority of which is, again, all of it is cosmetic on the exterior side. Some paint to the shutters, replacement of some light fixtures in kind with night sky compliant fixtures, obviously. They're going to whitewash the brick that's on the building and just kind of give it a refresh cosmetically on the exterior. The application, as you mentioned, it's currently under a special use permit as a mixed use building. There's a single family residence on the second floor. The ground floor is commercial and has a special use permit. However, that within that resolution, it specified the type of business that it was. I believe the phrase is real estate management company. Which was slightly different than the type of business that Edward Jones is as they're a financial advisor and a private wealth advisor. So, as such, we applied for a new special use permit, but the proposed use of the building in the first floor would still be professional offices. The number of employees that were specified previously, I believe, were 5 maximum. This will be 4 maximum. And there's a couple other items that were addressed in a memo from Aaron's team, which we responded to in writing earlier today. And I'm happy to go through if you think that's a good use of time, or if there's any questions or further discussions on it, we can just pick and choose what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna go through it after you were done with your intro.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you got most of it. There's no proposed changes to the existing site plan. The existing parking is more than adequate for the business use, and I believe it meets all requirements from a code standpoint. So a part of our application is just the previous site plan that was submitted in 2022 as part of that special use application. So yeah, any other questions we're happy to answer.
Sure. So I'll just go through some of these comments from the memo. Yeah, so this application was in 2022. You approved it for the Adirondack Properties property management office space that was the use proposed at the time. So the resolution was pretty specific in that it actually specified real estate management company. It actually also said maximum of 5 employees and also a parking lot with no less than 11 spaces. And there was a site plan that was generated for that special use permit that was basically the property survey with formal, like showing parking spaces, how many can fit, even though the lot's not a striped lot currently. It shows that you can fit 11 spaces. That includes 2 for the apartment and 9 for the business. So before I get into that, the other thing that I flagged in the second comment was that just on the escrow deposit, the town has additional escrow deposit requirements based on like the cost of the project. So the initial deposit was made of $1,500, but technically because the interior is getting renovated, I think it would be subject to the additional escrow. We might not use it all. I don't think we will, but just to cover the bases there, I think they should. I think you did respond to this in your response. For what the interior renovation cost is approximately going to be, and I think the escrow should be based on that number.
Okay. Do you know what the fee schedule would define that escrow based on the?
It's in the application, but.
It's in the application. I'll pull it up. Sure.
Yeah, and we had asked about this with the planning secretary, just because the application states development costs. And since we weren't really subdividing or developing any new improvements, we asked the question and she let us know that it would just be the 1,500. But, obviously we're happy to increase that if the board so chooses.
Yeah, so it's 1,500 initial and then plus, if it's under 10,000, it's additional $2,000. If it's between 10,000 and $50,000, it's 5,000, and anything over 50,001 cent or $1 is $10,000. I think that's quite a lot for this.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We probably do need to clarify that in our application, that what development cost means, because I'm not sure that it was intended to mean interior renovation.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
You're not going to get involved in any of that.
Hmm?
Interior, any of the.
Yeah, that's more of a building permit.
Right. The building permit process with the building department deals with all the ins and outs of the code, code compliance and everything else on the renovation. So yeah, it was just something I wanted to flag just to discuss it. But if you don't feel it's necessary, I don't think it's going to be
When I first saw it, I thought it was.
1,500.
For a special permit.
They said
It would be an additional 10,000 based on the cost of.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
I mean, if more money is needed. I think
How it works is, yeah, I mean,
So-
when we invoice, if it turns out that there needs to be replenished, the town contacts the applicant and just says, this is the last invoice and just, provide this additional amount. Or else it's just gonna, having
This- I mean, this
a
is
large
for
deposit.
Cosmetic changes and
Mhm.
special use permit change. It seems pretty de minimis.
Yeah, we're only getting
Okay.
involved in special and use.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
So I
we
think-
need to clarify the application though, that's.
So I wanted to bring that up just for you to
Thank you.
No, it's good to.
have a thought on it and,
So I have a question, if you don't mind. Matthew, can you describe how the space will be used? I know it's office space, but do clients come there? Do they park there? Do they come in? Is there a reception area? How many people work there? Can you just let us know that?
Sure. Yeah, so there's typically between 2 and 4 people will be in the office at any time in terms of employees. And it's very much an appointment-based service. So a private client would have a financial advisor, and they would set up a time to come in the office and discuss their portfolio or their investments or anything like that. So not a lot of walk-in traffic whatsoever. Again, it's all appointment-based, and they'll be staggered. So in our approximation, again, we reserved between 2 and 4 parking spaces. So consider it 4 maximum for employees, and 2 spaces for clients at any time. And that would really be based on like an overlap in when someone's appointment was ending and the next person showed up.
So that's 6, and you're providing 9 for the
9 current. That's correct. Yes.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. So it seems like there's enough.
Yeah.
Based on that. I mean, if it's not a very large space, so you're staggering appointments, that makes sense. You're not, no one can really come in without an appointment. Sounds like.
That's correct. Yeah. It's not like a branch, a brick and mortar bank branch that some people can walk into.
Okay.
One of the concerns we had in the last go around with this property was safety in that on 44.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there anything?
So there's a note that's addressed in one of my comments. It's number 10. There was concerns about that in 2022 for the other application. Basically, the short-term parking along right in front of the building on 44, which was happening when it was a deli, which is common for a deli. Prohibiting parking wasn't really made a condition, only because there's already a sign there that DOT has. It says no parking anytime. So I think
It's just complying
it's
with
there.
that rule.
So if they're saying that it's just not the way it's going to work here. Everyone's going to park in the back and come in, and it's not kind of the run in and get something kind of situation. I think it was brought up on the prior application because there was a possibility that folks would stop and drop rent checks off or something and do that, but I don't think this is same use. So
I just want to make sure the applicant's aware of our.
Yeah, they are. They had the comment, and I think it's just up to law enforcement and DOT to enforce that. The sign's there, so.
It seems like a lot less of a problem since it's not a deli anymore.
Yep.
When
Yeah.
it was a deli, it was a real safety issue.
Yeah.
So I think
Makes
it
sense.
seems like it's been much better.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll continue.
I mean, I'd go past it every day.
Yeah, multiple times a day.
Mm.
Yeah. Seems better.
I think we addressed most of these in here. The only other one was number 9, Matt, about the signage. There's no more. The signage is inside when you come in, and you can see it through the windows. Is that right?
You could probably get a sight line through the windows if you were kind of looking. It is set back. I think that wall is about 20 feet in from the door.
But you're not proposing any new exterior signs then on the building?
I believe they are working on a signage package. When I say they, I mean Edward Jones. They have a national contract with a signage vendor, and they're putting that whole design package together. They are aware of. I actually shared the Town of Washington code with them, so they have that as a basis. And I will imagine that's going to just be a separate application for the exterior signage. That's not currently in our scope to install.
They'll have to come back for that.
I think if there's something you can share with it, I'm sure the board would be interested, but they don't have, I think it's a building department issue to approve against the code, but I think you can also, the conditions in the resolution, if you move to approve this, could have specifically say that the signage must be compliant with the town's regulations, and the building department should
That would be great.
approve them. Yeah.
Sure. I should be able to get a preliminary design package from them to share with the board as well. It won't be part of the approval, but it's basically for informational purposes. So you
That
can
would
see
be helpful.
what they're
Sure.
planning on. Yeah.
Okay. Then otherwise on the procedural side, this is on Route 44. It's a state road, so that requires the county referral through General Municipal Law 239M. So I recommend we do that referral tonight, that we have to wait 30 days for a response. And for seeker, it's a type 2 action based on the fact that the direct quote of the citation is it's a reuse of a residential or commercial structure or of a structure containing mixed use where the residential or commercial use is permitted under applicable zoning, including permitted by special use permit. I mean, this fits right into that. So it's a type 2 action, just like the last application was for this property. Some of the recommendations for tonight are to classify it as type 2, refer it out, and I think we're probably ready to have a hearing for the next meeting.
Aaron, in your opinion, do you think the county will have any input, or do you think they'll just they'll say no comment?
Probably it'll come back as a matter of local concern. I can take a quick look to see what they said last time. Hang on a minute. For the other application. Maybe not so fast. I don't believe we saw any county comments for this. They were concerning. Yeah.
I don't trust my memory.
So let me look it up real quick. Sorry. County planning response, found it. So for the previous application, they identified everything correctly. Special permit, State Route 44 as the flag. Matter of local concern, no comments.
Great.
So I'm pretty sure they'll do the same here.
Sure.
Okay, so just moving business along, can get a motion to classify this as a type 2 under seeker.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, then we need to refer to county planning, so I'll contact the substitute secretary to do that. That is, and if we're ready, which I think we are, we'll, can I get a motion to schedule a public hearing on this for next month?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
See
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Next, we have a workshop. This is Schmidt and Conway property at 443 Valley Farm Road. Applicants, John Schmidt and Wendy Conway, are represented by Crisp Architects. They've applied for a wetlands and watercourse permit for a 743 square foot addition to their house. It's located within the 100-foot buffer.
You can pull up a chair.
Yeah, so they came to us in January and we referred them to the ZBA because they needed a special permit to expand their pre-existing non-conforming house. And they received that, bless you, they received that special permit and are back to us as they now need a site plan approval from us and a wetland permit to proceed with the work, correct?
Correct.
Great.
I'm Jimmy Crisp of Crisp Architects. This is Darren Conrad, one of my associates, project architect, and I'll send it over to him.
Sure. Essentially, the project fairly straightforward, as you mentioned. They have a roughly 3,500 square foot home. We are looking to do an addition of 743 square feet, which was discussed at ZBA to be under the requirement of 25%. We are here because we are within the 100-foot wetlands buffer. The majority of the house is, and the expansion, the addition that the owner is requesting falls pretty much entirely within the buffer with about 59.5 feet to the delineated wetlands. It would be our closest, and we're matching that dimension based on an existing sunroom that was built, I think, in the early 90s.
So we're not getting any worse.
Correct.
We're not going further towards.
We are not.
The wetland. But there will be more in the wetland.
Yes,
By 700.
743 square feet.
Can you show us?
The size of the house is 3,540 square feet. Here's,
That includes the basement, doesn't
no, because it's just the second floor. So there's our wetland line.
And the
Here's
pond is here?
This side,
The pond's on that side.
correct.
Okay. Can you tell me-
I have a, Home, addition and brown, wetlands.
It's a stream that turns into a pond. There's a dam there. So it's basically it's a constructed
Beautiful
pond.
setting.
So at some
Yeah,
point in the
beautiful.
past, somebody wanted a pond and they
Oh,
dammed it
a
up.
long time in the
Yeah,
past.
it's
Yeah.
part of a
It's an old
stream
town.
complex.
Several
that's-
areas like
Yeah.
that.
So the 100-foot buffer is
This line here,
pretty much almost the entire house is in and out.
Yeah.
correct.
And there are other properties on the house. There are other facilities, other buildings on the property.
Yes,
Other homes.
Some of them are also within the buffer.
yes, this one is, and then there's several
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I have a full site plan.
That's okay. I just want to confirm
Sure.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, on the road, Stanford Road, no.
No, Valley Farm.
Valley Farm Road is sitting out here. in
Correct.
Len's Meyer.
Hmm.
And the road, I think the road is higher than the pond in the house.
It is, yes.
And remind me again why this is necessary?
Why the addition is necessary?
Yeah.
As it stands, the master bedroom is inadequate for,
Go back to the house plan, shows.
oh, sure.
But I-
And they want to keep the map on the first floor.
Yes, that's the age. I am upside down. Yeah, pond side, it's on this end,
So what's black is new.
correct. I have an existing plan. Yeah.
I think we get it from this. then.
So continue explaining about why the addition or space is necessary.
As currently situated, the existing bedroom is fairly small, dark as well. So they want it to really open up to take advantage of the site, to see the pond. So you have a much larger first floor space that fits their needs much better and further complements the house.
And we also wanted to make it at least semi-handicapped accessible
Correct.
for as they age.
So everything in black is new?
Yes,
But there's no new net bedroom. They're demolishing the existing master, creating a new master bedroom and then a new closet, according to from the application,
Okay.
new closet, laundry, and finished / unfinished storage. So there's no new bedroom, so the septic system should be adequate, at least eyes are ready for the house. So,
You're not suggesting any changes to septic?
no, we are not
And there's no new bathroom?
replacing any kind.
Okay. Okay, so any other questions about that?
So just to discuss it a little bit. So
Yeah, it's a big operation in a wetland, that's what I'm thinking, but
So there's no way you could make that addition or additional bedroom out of the buffer in any case, right? So the whole thing's in the buffer anyway.
well, it's not though, because the back of the house isn't in the buffer.
You'd have to add the bedroom onto the kitchen and it just doesn't work. And it's
Where's the
uphill
kitchen?
Right there.
Part completely without.
The kitchen's really the only piece that's not in the buffer.
Right. Where's the driveway come?
The driveway is
Oh, it's
way
all
up here,
Right.
where the garage is.
Yeah, I think if you're aging in place, you do need like a bigger bathroom to be more
You do.
accessible. You do.
And you need a first floor and you know, those things, I agree with that, but
And they're kind of hemmed in a little bit.
And
And the ZBA did approve the special permit.
Yes.
Yes, contingent upon site plan and wetlands.
but the ZBA doesn't look at all at the wet condition. No, They're just,
No.
they're just looking at that 25% question. What's just, and if you already pointed to this, sorry, what's behind here? In other words, you know, this is what's coming into the buffer now, right? This part?
Yes.
The whole
The
thing
whole
is,
thing is already in the buffer.
Yeah, right, but this is
Extension.
this is the new extension that goes into the buffer, right?
Further in.
Further in.
into the
Yeah.
buffer.
And you can't go that way.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Put the
Like,
bedroom over here.
couldn't you be doing this, but then have the bedroom here?
The bedroom would then be, away from the pond. They would be sacrificing having the best part of the property.
And we're trying to balance the overall looks of a house.
Show us the elevation.
The pond view.
Pick it up. Yeah.
Sure. That side elevation coming up from the driveway. And that's again, the pond side.
So this is what the
It's a
new.
front house. But from the road, that's the front. Yeah, it's the back.
We're trying to make the addition fit the rest of the house.
Yeah,
Yes.
It is?
I believe so.
Okay.
Been a while since I looked at it, but
So this side is what faces the
in
pond.
January we got it, or
Yes.
December.
Okay.
I always try to come to think not to go further towards the water and further, and that's this does, even though it's keeping the same line as another part of the house, it is encroaching further into the
True.
wetland.
I mean, our general guidelines has always been that if you don't make it any worse than it already is, it's acceptable. But, I understand the concerns.
And that's just, a requirement of the wetlands application is for the applicant to demonstrate why the intrusion is necessary. And, that's something we always have to talk about, is balancing what's ideal versus what's necessary, what's optimal and what's necessary. It's not always easy for us or for you to do that.
I understand.
Which I think is the hesitation you're hearing.
Yeah.
And the reason we're asking those questions.
Because ordinarily, we fully understand wanting a first floor master and aging in place, and these are all great goals to have in your home, but when you're on a wetland property, it just makes that more difficult. And the law doesn't really give us guidance in what that means exactly, so we have to use our best judgment.
So the issue is, from the owner's point of view, this is necessary.
Well, yeah,
Right?
I think they think it's
From our
necessary.
point of view, we have to decide whether this is necessary or it can be located. And we have to keep in mind that this house has it's been existing for a long time in this place.
Mhm.
And the aesthetics of it are important. In other words, how it's going to look when it's done are as important as what's necessary to me, anyway. I mean, you don't want the thing to look like something that's been added on or not architecturally.
Yeah, you want it to look like it
appropriate.
belongs there. Which
So I think
generally
we have to
crisp
consider,
architects and that used to do.
I think we have to consider all those issues as part of necessary.
Yes, this is all
Yeah,
visible.
it's all very visible from the road. And that's a very beautiful road that, this body of water kind of goes along the whole road through many properties that are
Sure.
in. And the majority, almost all of the house is already in the buffer.
I mean, maybe we need to hear from Steve about
Yeah, for
what
sure.
he thinks about an incursion like this, that,
Yes, and it's been referred to Steve, or I already informally just gave him everything, and I gave him a copy of the memo, so he can see the things that the NRI flagged around here too, so he knows, he understands the conditions, the potential sensitivity of like the riparian areas, and it's technically I think it's a Class C trout stream that turns into the pond, according to the mapping. So he knows all this, he's got all the information, he's gonna go out, and I think he can come back with some recommendations. It's something that I think we've seen this before, where he can come up with recommendations for the yard that leads up to the pond and how it can be treated, and there could be like a no-mow strip or something. Like, I don't want to speak for him, but there's ways that you can like protect.
yeah, maybe improving other conditions on site can balance some of
Correct.
the damage that this
Right,
might.
because right now if the lawn goes right up to the water's edge, and it's technically a riparian sensitive area, there's ways that maybe we could, Steve can recommend that it be,
We talk a little bit
treated
about
a certain way.
I'm sorry. We
Go
talk a
ahead.
little bit about the construction Will there be significant excavation? How much will there be a basement under this room?
They are in the basement, yes.
So they're adding a basement.
Is
Does
there
that
a
count?
basement underneath the other building?
There is a crawl space.
But this will have an actual
Have
basement.
a full
So
basement.
it's an existing house that's like a stone
quite an
foundation. or-
intrusion.
Yeah.
Is it
Or is it-
necessary? Is it basement
It's
necessary?
different in different parts.
Parts, right.
There's
What's
a-
going in the basement?
Yeah, tell us about
That's where
that.
the laundry and the unfinished storage is.
And how deep, tell us how deep is that? How,
8-foot basement.
So there'll be excavation. They'll have to protect the- they'll have to protect
There'll
the
be
site.
erosion controls required, yes.
so we'd want to know how that would be managed.
So, I mean, is that part necessary, relative to the view and the, aging requirements? Is the basement actually necessary?
The basement, in terms of overall impact compared to the absolute minimum that you need to do, which is frost line 4 foot down, we're only going 4 feet more than a 4-foot crawl space. And that allows them to put their laundry and have some storage. And like any old house, they don't have much storage. So, I mean, we will make sure they overdo the protection. So there's no runoff, there's silt fencing, there's everything that we always do in a sensitive area.
That's one of the comments in my.
I mean, you never
Memo
know
was-
till you get there, but do you have a sense of what's under there? Is it going to be difficult?
I couldn't say what.
Site conditions are always unknown.
Well, you sometimes, I mean, we have rock.
They don't have, they don't have a lot
Actually,
of.
they would,
Yeah.
the land generally would be nothing, what kind of soil, if the shell there, that would be in the NOI. We can discover that, what
I didn't-
land formation is.
I think there wasn't any special geological formations or anything identified from what we looked at in the NRI maps, so. I think it's mostly agricultural, it's actually flagged as mostly, farmland of statewide importance, even though there's no farming happening. So the soil should be pretty good.
Would be a gravel.
Yeah.
I think hearing from Steve would be,
Yeah, and
would be
he's,
That's gonna be
helpful.
very important.
he'll do what he usually does, he'll go out and he'll come back with some comments, and I think the comment 7 in the memo I have is about showing on the site plan, and if you don't already, the disturbed area, like a limit of disturbance and how you're gonna screen that with silt screening and other erosion controls to protect the pond. Because I think that'll be, if that's on your site plan that you end up approving, that's kind of locked in as a requirement, and the building department will
I
know.
think that Emily's point is pretty good, though, besides silt screening and erosion control, because they're gonna dig 8 feet and excavate it, where they're gonna put that soil, right? So that doesn't, all that kind of thing is important to consider, so that you may want to consider that or plan
Yeah,
it.
and I'm asking about what's on there, just in terms of the proximity to the pond.
Yeah.
Is there, I would be interested in Steve's take on that.
As far as like, groundwater being
Yeah.
close by,
Well, they'll find that out when they dig the hole.
Well, if we find that out before they, if you're putting in a septic system, you have to go in there and see what the soil is, and
I
You
wouldn't,
want to
I
test
think,
it.
yeah, I mean, based on the fact that it was kind of, used to be a stream and it was kind of made into a pond by a dam, it's probably not extending that far as the groundwater. I'm not a hydrogeologist, but I think Steve can help on that too.
Then we have a few,
Yes, referrals. Yeah, so again, this is also with the site plan, and those aren't excluded from county referral, and this is, it meets the requirement for getting referred to the county because it's within 500 feet of a farm operation in an ag district. So I recommend doing that referral. And the referral to Steve Marino has already been done, and the CAC, as with any wetlands permit application, they should get a copy as well. Type 2 seeker, expansion of a single family house is typically a type 2 action, so have that down. Yeah, so classifying it as type 2, referring it to the CAC and Steve Marino and to the county planning. And if you're ready to set a public hearing for April 1st, you can do that too. unless you want to wait for the wetland consultant to get out there.
Personally, think we need to hear from Steve a
Yeah.
bit more
Okay.
about, before plunging into a public hearing on something that's going right.
So if he comes in with comments before the April meeting, we should be able to, if he's available to come in, he could come and speak to that too at the next meeting.
Could we set a public hearing for next month, dependent on whether or not we can hear from Steve at the time?
That would be fine with me if we can do that, if we can cancel it at the last minute, but
You can
that means
cancel it.
people have
You can also
to
hold
give.
it open.
Yeah, you can keep it open.
Oh, yeah, I
That's-
like that idea
Yeah,
because it
that's
gives
a good
people an opportunity to learn about the project sooner and we can get their input. There's no,
Yeah.
I guess there's no downside.
There's no
And
downside.
you'll get the
for it,
noticing out of the way for it too.
rather hear from the neighbors
Yeah,
early.
and they like
What
to
their
hear
concerns
early.
are.
Yeah, good idea.
They like to do it.
Let's-
Okay,
let's
so
do
let's
that.
do that. Okay. So first, is there anything else, Aaron? Or,
No, that's it.
so let's first classify the classify the application as a type 2 under seekers. Can I get a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Guys are on a roll.
Great. I will notify
That's
the
easy.
secretary to refer the application to the town wetland consultant and CAC. He pretty much.
The wetland
The
consultant
wetlands.
referral's been done,
He's done
yeah.
that. Okay,
but the county and CAC has not.
okay. And to refer to county planning for under 2:39 M. And can I have a motion to schedule the public hearing for next month?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Okay. All set then?
Thank you very much.
Beautiful
Thank
work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it
it.
is
Yeah,
really
thank you.
beautiful.
Sort of situations like.
Yeah.
When a house
Entire
is-
house.
that's-
that's.
Yeah, yeah,
It's tricky. You know, you can't not do anything fast for the ever of the life of the house.
I know, especially
agree.
have some that's gonna
He's
stay there.
aging,
Things,
and
yeah.
thank you. But it's like,
And-
what's the extent? That's always our
And
issue.
part of the reason that they own that property, I'm sure, is because of the view of the pond and that
Yeah.
gorgeous, that's.
I think that property's been in that family.
For a long
Oh, really?
time.
Oh. a
Yeah.
very
Oh,
long
that's
time.
nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
actually very
I
nice.
just think the basement might be a little intrusive.
But surely, if they're already going 4 feet down,
Like,
He did
like
make
how he
it, I
says,
did think that was interesting.
I'm only
Yeah.
doubling.
I know.
I mean, what's 4 feet? You've already got to get a bunch of machinery in there to even get down to the
And
frost
just to go to
I
the
know,
fourth, you
I
get
know.
machinery's going.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful. I really
We'll
do.
just see
Yeah,
what
I feel we
Steve
have to,
says.
we have to
Wait.
go through our.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have to.
We have to
Yeah.
go through a
We have to ask
process.
all the
If
questions.
anybody hasn't gone by it, you should drive by the.
Well, let's
I
do
know
a
it
site
well.
visit.
I know it well. I know who lives there.
they made an offer on the house on that road. But that whole road, that
It's
water
beautiful.
goes
Stream
all
goes all
through
the way
there.
through.
And it's all Hitchcock on the other side, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's,
I think that's could be another.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doug, I
It's what?
just wanted
That
to
could be
follow
another
up
whole-
I know.
on what we did last month, which was kind of give a referral or a recommendation to the town board that you were going to take to them about
Oh, I-
zoning code changes.
Sorry. didn't mean-
No, please.
So I did bring it up to the town board and we had 2 board members missing. And they asked me to wait until all board members were present so that we could discuss it.
Have you found them?
Sorry.
You said they were missing. I asked if you found them.
Yeah, one's in Florida.
I was gonna say, I bet I know where to look.
Florida and Tennessee.
I want to be missing like that. Okay, the only other thing, I just wanted to let everybody know, we had sent some emails back and forth, but the CIC had asked us to support their application for a grant for technical assistance to create a conservation overlay. So we sent a letter of support, I sent a letter of support to
Yes,
them
you-
that,
You emailed it to us.
yes, okay, just wanted to kind of put that up there.
I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
especially if they're going to take the lead on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fully support
Sure,
that. It's a
and
great
I think the
opportunity.
town board also supported the application. So that's good. And it's through Cornell University, and
Yeah.
DEC Hudson River Project or something.
It might kind of all work its way into a conservation overlay, scenic roads, that all might
Yeah.
kind of work
Mhm.
into one.
We'll see,
Okay.
yeah, okay. All right, is there
Like
anything
April
else?
1st, next, so-
April 1st, our next meeting. Does anyone have any other matter on the agenda? Can I have a motion to close this?
So moved.
Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Let's,
They all say workshops.
Yeah.